with another live stream. Today I'm joined by Alec yet again. Alec, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing a little bit better. I've cooled down since our argument about Jared Goff last night, but I'm doing a little bit better now. Let's. I want to get into some tier rankings here again. So I'll go ahead and share this one because I still have our last tiers that we had still here. There's been some changes here for sure. So this was 2 weeks ago, I believe. Um, And so I think the biggest one that stands out to me here is the New York Giants. They are pathetic, like absolutely pathetic. Daniel Jones, questionable with a neck injury, scary a neck injury, but dude, the Giants are just like pathetic. You know what I mean?
They're bad. They're like, I mean, it's kind of crazy though, because last year they were pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how much like the of last year was like just pure like luck. You know what I mean? Like because this team this year has shown like nothing. Like there's no aspect of their game that's like, oh, it's not hitting. Like you look at the Bengals. The Bengals were bad at the start of this year, right? But it's like Joe Burrow's injured. Defense is not playing great. They're not getting the ball to Jamar Chase, but like you can see that's how you win. I look at this Giants team and I'm like, I don't know how you win. Like
Yeah,
Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. When Saquon's out, you're screwed. You don't have a receiving core. Your defense is playing horrendous. Like,
and your offensive line is the worst in the NFL.
yeah, Evan Neal is just playing like as a mannequin. He's just standing there.
He's
Like,
bad. Yeah, he's pretty bad. Yeah, and it's like their backup skill positions are awful. Their wideouts are bad.
mm-hmm.
Their backup running backs are bad. Matt
Yes.
Breida's bad. Eric Gray had 12 carries for 25 yards. Like, maybe they're not that bad because the O line's bad, but like you can't say they're good.
No.
So
Well, yeah, and like even just like coming into the season, no matter what offensive line you put in front of him, like Breida is not great, like at all. He's not good. Like, and the other thing too that I just don't necessarily understand is that you pay Daniel Jones all this money, right? And you do nothing to like surround him with pieces, right? You go get Darren Waller, okay, that's nice, right? But like you don't have a wide receiver one, Wandale Robinson, unless you want to consider that a wide receiver one. Like you don't have a receiver. As soon as Saquon's out, you have nothing, and you have a terrible offensive line. You know, like what else are you committing your money to?
I mean, they have like 7 receivers that are all wide receiver threes.
Yeah, and that's being generous. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't necessarily see a way back. Now the issue too is for the Giants is I think they're going to win enough games this year that they're not going to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes because they'll beat somebody that's bad, right? I'll pull up their schedule right now. But like I don't know, maybe they can get lucky and have you know 3 wins and be able to escape into like the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. But like look at this schedule here. What's left? You have the Commanders twice, which is nice, right? You have the Patriots in there. um, you have the Raiders in there. Those are 4 winnable games. But like you're gonna lose to the Bills. You're probably gonna lose to the Jets. You're gonna lose to the Cowboys. Probably losing the Packers. You're gonna lose to the Saints. Gonna lose to the Eagles, Rams, and Eagles. So I guess maybe they can really compete for Caleb Williams here. The issue is if they're one and you just paid Daniel Jones all this money, do you take him?
Yeah, I think the Daniel Jones contract is only like guaranteed for 2 years.
Okay.
Might be 3. But I mean, if you get Caleb Williams, you avoid that. I mean, you take the debt. I mean, you just let it happen. You take the dead money.
Mm-hmm. So that brings me to another question too: is that the Bears are just like this is what is just crazy. Do you like if you're the Bears, do you take Caleb Williams or do you ride with Justin Fields? Because I think what I would do is I would trade if you have 1 and 2 with Carolina, which let's go ahead and move Carolina into this. Well, I guess no, we had them there because they don't have
Because like the
yeah,
Bears.
So if you have 1 and 2, if you're the Bears, if it's me, I trade 1 and get a huge package for it, right? I mean, we saw what the Panthers just gave up for Bryce Young. What teams are going to give up for Caleb Williams is going to be unreal. And then you just take Marv at 2, and you cement your wide receiver room. You have DJ Moore and Marv. Roshan Johnson's going to be better next year, and then do some other work with whatever pieces you get. Maybe get some offensive line pieces, strengthen the defense, whatever you need to do. But you have a fine team, and if you get that core of like Fields, Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert's not a bad backfield. Komet's in there, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Like that's a good core in my opinion. And
yeah, I think the difference though is that with Fields, he'd be going into his 4th year. So if you take Caleb, you don't have to pay a quarterback for the next 4 years. So you're basically resetting your window without paying like a QB.
Mm-hmm.
So then you trade Fields for, I don't know, you could probably get a late first. Probably. I'm just trying to think of like if a team would give up a late first, but like I feel like with Caleb, he's such a generational talent that you just have to take him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it'd be hard not to, especially if Fields, like we were saying this off of like Justin Fields' 2 best weeks. Like if he crashes again, like I don't think there's any doubt that they would take Caleb Williams.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a tough decision for them to make, dude. Because the other thing too is that like the package you would get from trading the one.
Oh, the
several
4 firsts. It would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
and probably
mind numbing.
Yes, I mean it would be like it would be multiple firsts and players. I think like contributing players.
I mean, if I'm trying to think here. I'm looking at teams like if I'm the Bucks,
if I'm like the Falcons,
if I'm the Falcons, I mean if honestly, and this sounds crazy, but like if I'm the Seahawks, I would try to.
That Seahawks team, if you put Caleb Williams in, like is like a Super Bowl contender, assuming Caleb Williams lives up to what we expect him to be, right?
For sure. And I'm just like trying to look at these other teams, like, honestly, like, and this is me being serious too. Like, if I'm the Jets, I would think about like giving up a ton for Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the Jets is you're getting Aaron Rodgers back, right? And it's like, okay,
well, yeah,
but like, how healthy? One, how healthy is he going to be? 2, he's what, 37?
No, he's 40.
Oh God, yeah, I was off by a lot. He's 40 recovering from an Achilles. Like, let's not act like this is like some 32-year-old that's got plenty of time left. You know what I mean?
I think Caleb Williams. Let's just for all our AFC fans out there, pray to God that he goes to the NFC.
Yeah,
because you can't have another great quarterback in the AFC. There's just too many. Like there needs to be some balance. So, so what would your favorite team like? So out of those, good luck next year, Caleb Williams sweepstakes. What team would you like be most excited about him going to?
If I saw, as much as it pains me to say this as a Cincinnati fan, if I saw Caleb Williams suiting up for the Falcons, I would love to watch them week in, week out. Like that offense, outside of Bijan, we're not including him because he's getting plenty of work. Drake London and Kyle Pitts is a great wide receiver 1 and tight end combo, and they have done nothing because they just haven't gotten the ball. Like if you put a capable quarterback in there, which again, not trying to be like rude to Desmond Ridder, but like he's not been great as an NFL quarterback. You can't get around that. And if you put an actual great NFL quarterback in there and let him work, like this offense could be really good. Now, I also think that the Falcons could be looking into Kirk Cousins this year. I could very much see that, especially if we saw like Minnesota lose like 2 more games, and if the Falcons were to win like 2 of their next 3 games, and Ridder doesn't look good, I could see them trading for him. Looking at the Falcons here, so they play the Bucks they're on a bye this week, and then they play the Bucks, and then they go Titans, Vikings, Cardinals. So
that's a pretty winnable stretch.
They could realistically go 4-0. I mean, probably going like 3-1 at best, right? But like you could go 4-0. So I could see that like after that, like it would be kind of funny after the Vikings Falcons game if Kirk Cousins came out and got traded to the Falcons. But I could see it. What other team do you think is like genuinely interested in Kirk Cousins right now, though?
See, that's a tough question. Just because I don't know of. I really don't think there's a lot of suitors. I don't think the Jets is very realistic.
Just because of money?
Just because of money, but also because of like they've said over and over again that Zach Wilson is playing better now. So it's like, and they're like dead set on trying to get him reps to
Mhm.
make sure that they, it's kind of tough. Like when you take a big risk on somebody and then like they don't pan out and then they have one big game and you're like, oh my gosh, like maybe we weren't wrong. And then you
Yes.
try to prove to the world that, hey, I wasn't wrong, even
Yeah.
though people probably think you were by taking him anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're going to ride with him.
Well, it just, like, restarts your process, right? Of, like,
Yeah.
we're getting pissed off at him, we're getting pissed off, and then, "Oh, we had a great game. Nope, we're all gone." Now you have to
Yeah.
restart climbing that hill, right?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't really see anybody else doing it. Like, I think the Titans they'll be out. Like, they're going to be so bad that they won't like want to like try to trade for Kirk Cousins.
Mhm.
They already have like, I know Ryan Tannehill's not Kirk Cousins, but like it's a similar guy where it's like I mean, they can't pay two QBs 30+ mil.
No.
So unless the Vikings, the one thing that could change this is if the Vikings eat a lot of that money for the rest of this year.
Yeah.
Then I could see the Titans,
Jets.
like maybe an injury happens.
What about the No, I was gonna say maybe the Patriots, but I don't think that the Patriots are gonna be good enough to.
I think
Nor do I see them, like, even, like, a possibility of, like, making the playoffs because of how hard their division is. Like, you could put Kirk on that team right now, and they would still be the worst team in the division by a lot of games, like
I think honestly, and I'm being dead serious, I think the Cardinals are like probably 5 to 10% better than the Patriots.
Yes.
And
Dude,
like
it's
a hot take. I don't think that's a hot take at all.
the fact, like, like, what we were talking about the Giants earlier, right, is, like, they don't have anything, right? They can't get anything going, and that was, like, without Saquon, you're really struggling. You don't have a receiving core. Well, with Ramondre Stevenson, they have no attack. Like, you don't even have a tight end as a positive, aspect. You have Juju Smith-Schuster who you're paying. You gave him the exact same contract as you declined Jacoby Myers, and now Jacoby Myers is balling out in Las Vegas, right? Like, I would not be surprised at all if Bill Belichick's if this is his last season in New England.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
as
I think
crazy as it
yeah,
seems, like he's ran them into the ground the last few years. Like they've done nothing, drafting like Cole Strange. You know what I mean? Like what? Now he's decent, right? But like you haven't done anything in like to actually rebuild your team. Drafting Mac Jones, like he's been terrible. Like you have to move on from Mac Jones if you're the Patriots. He has done nothing for you.
yeah. There's that the quote by Dan Orlovsky who he got mad yesterday because people took it out of context, but he was saying how if Mac Jones was in San Francisco, he'd be playing similar to Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like. I don't think he'd be playing like Brock Purdy, but I think he'd like be a lot better in San Francisco just because of the system.
Well, I think you could put just about any quarterback in that system, and it's like you're not going to look bad. You know what I mean?
No, like CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins,
Mhm.
like they didn't win games, but like they didn't look bad.
No. Well, it's when you're handing the ball off to the best running back in the league, and he's running behind a top 3 offensive line in the league, and you're throwing to wide receivers that are wide open. Like, yeah. What do you guys think about Bijan Robinson and Mark Andrews for Jalen Waddle? Or Bijan for Mark Andrews and Jalen Waddle, sorry. I don't know. I'm curious to hear what your tight end situation is because if you don't have a tight end at all, I would be interested in this because I think you're selling pretty high on Bijan right now.
Also, what are your like other running backs look like?
Yeah, because Jalen Waddle, you're buying kind of low on, but I think as low as he's going to get, like
I really like Jalen Waddle.
Pitts and Henry.
His targets are going to really skyrocket. I think the next couple weeks.
Who, Waddle or Pitts?
Waddle.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Pitts. Again, might be what we were just saying about Zach Wilson, but what we just saw this past week is they let Desmond Ridder throw the ball a ton, and it worked. They had like 450 yards of offense. So I wouldn't be surprised. I would hold on to Pitts for at least one more week because there's a chance that they come out next week and they do the same thing. And if it works again, they're going to let Ridder just sling the ball and use Bijan a little bit less in like the running game and still give him 20+ touches a game, right? But
I think the problem with that though is like Arthur Smith doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like him to his core is Algier and Bijan getting 15 plus carries.
Yeah.
But I will agree with you. The game script, though, that's what it scares me about because we talked about their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see them being up in every one of those games and just pounding it.
Yeah.
But I will say, dude, Pitt's in a dynasty league. I know, like it's not dynasty, but like it's redraft. But Pitt's is going to be insane.
Yes. Like the second the receiver situation, CD, Marquise Brown, and Jacoby Myers. Okay, so I see why you would want to.
Yeah,
He's mixing Aaron Jones. I see why you would want to go get Waddle. Honestly, maybe try to trade Bijan for like Bijan and like Marquise Brown for like Waddle and another receiver. In all honesty, and hold on to Pitts because I think Pitts actually might be decent the rest of the year. Like, if it's me in like a pure logical sense, looking at the Atlanta Falcons, it's hard for me to look at what Kyle Pitts just did, right, this past like week and the success they had, right, and say we don't want to utilize that. You know what I mean? Because all year it's been like it's not even like he's like dropping passes or he's playing bad. It's like you're just not giving him the ball.
Yeah, well, you're not like he's just not getting targets. Like he's getting 3 targets in a game. Like that's insanity.
Yeah. And then you see the correlation of, okay, we gave him, 11, 12 targets, and we had 460 yards of total, 450, 460 yards of total offense. Yep. I would like to think that you would like, and they only scored 20 points. Like, imagine if they were to actually put up a week of 30 points, right? Or if he gets a touchdown, like, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. But at the same time, Mark Andrews' floor is just through the roof, especially with the like Ravens receiving issues that we've seen. This past week was awful, dude. If I'm Lamar, I'm throwing to Mark Andrews 20 times a game.
That was the worst performance from wideouts I think I've ever seen.
Dude, Rashad Bateman's performance that we just saw was worse than Kadarius Toney's in week 1, and it's getting 0 hate.
Yeah, because here I think the difference is, 1, it wasn't a primetime game.
Yeah.
But 2, the expectation for Kadarius Toney when he went to Kansas City was a fair or not, like legit, like people literally thought he was going to be Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
So people have known Rashad Bateman's been kind of buns probably since, like even before he got hurt last year, he wasn't playing very well.
Yeah.
So like for him dropping balls, they're like, I feel like Rashad Bateman's kind of in the same category as his teammate, like Nelson Aguilar, where it's like, okay, like they're just like, that's just them. Like that's who they are.
Yeah.
Well, people that saw Kadarius Toney were like, oh my God, dude, this dude still could be Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And watch him play and you're like, that dude is not Tyreek Hill.
No. Well, but on all honesty, like that game that Kadarius Toney had, he had that one drop that was the pick 6, right? And then he had the one at the end of the game that like on the 3rd down or whatever that hit his like was terrible drop, right? But then like his other 2 drops were both like, if he makes that catch, it's an unreal catch. Like,
yeah.
Yes, he gets his hands on it, but like you wouldn't expect a receiver, especially him, to make the catch. Rashad Bateman probably had like minimum 4 or 5 of like, I'm sitting here and it's hitting me perfectly in the hands and I'm dropping it. We have one. So AJ Brown and Kittle for Bijan. Is that a better trade? Ooh.
I'm really big on AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown, after that little, remember that, what week was that, 2? That he had that little, when he really upset.
Yeah, because it was the Vikings game. Yeah, it was the Thursday night football game.
Yeah, so like he got really upset, and Jalen Hurts, he has like a 34 or 35. It's somewhere like 34 to 37, I forget. Target share over the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like Devontae Smith last week had what, 1 catch?
Yeah, he did nothing.
For like 4 yards or something, like something crazy. 6 yards, I think. Like AJ Brown is dominating the target share.
Yeah.
And George Kittle, and my problem with Kittle though is like he's gonna have blow up weeks, and like the problem is like with this one, you'd be buying Kittle high, and I don't like that.
Yeah. In all honesty, if you could, if you're really interested in trading for a tight end, I'm curious if you're interested in giving up Pitts, because you could also sell high on Pitts right now.
You could basically do like Marquise Brown, even like Aaron Jones and Pitts could get you somebody.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a tight, like I mean, if I were you, Mark Andrews is like, I think really good. Like, but like you could get Sam Laporta for cheaper, and he's like almost just as good
Yeah.
for fantasy wise, I think.
I mean, you would be selling Pitts after a 15-point week, which everything we just said about what if they keep doing it, that's what other people are going to say too, right? So if you're interested in giving up, like getting a tight end to start over Pitts, I would say give up Pitts then, because then you're like right now, because then you're going to actually be able to get value out of him. Whereas instead of trading for a tight end and just having both, because tight end's kind of one of those where like you have, if you're only playing one a week, you're probably never going to be playing one at the flex. So that's just what I would say is if you're really interested in giving up or getting a tight end, see what you can get if you can give up Pitts.
Yeah, and I also think that it's kind of like the same thing, and I just have like a weird feeling that like it's kind of the same thing with Derrick Henry. 2 weeks ago when Derrick Henry went off against the Bengals,
Yeah,
like everybody was like, "Oh, it's a great time to sell." I kind of feel like that's the same way with Pitts. We're kind of like manifesting like that they're going to keep doing that, and like we just don't know.
yeah,
But
yeah. No, it is tough, right? But I don't know. I could. The thing is about Pitts is it's just so hard because like Derrick Henry, it's like okay, he's not as quick as he used to be. He's probably still just as strong, but he's lost that kind of like quick step that used to be able to pair with his strength, right?
yeah,
Pitts is like the best he's ever been, right
oh
now.
yeah, he's getting healthy too. Like
Yeah.
he had that MCL tear last year. He
Mhm.
like didn't practice during camp that much. He looked kind of slow the first couple games of the year, but he looks really like he actually looks pretty good now.
Yes. Now he looks like the guy that the Falcons drafted fourth overall
Yep.
progressed 3 years later. I mean, perfectly. Like,
I mean, there's like a couple guys that are like getting healthy. It's like him, Brees Hall's getting healthy. I think Jonathan Taylor over the next couple weeks, like guys to buy. I think Pitts would still be pretty easy to trade for. I think if
mhm.
you wanted to, but like if you could just all you need to do is find one guy
The other
that like
thing too is if you're looking to give up Pitts, target Hawkinson, dude, because Jefferson just went down for a minimum 4 weeks,
yeah
and I would assume he's gonna be in no rush to get back. Hawkinson, like, sure, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne are gonna get their fair share of targets increase, right? Hawkinson's the only consistent aspect of that offense now. Like,
yeah
the only piece. I could see him getting 12 plus targets for the next 4 weeks. But Najee over Andrews, I mean, hindsight, it's like, oh, really? But like, I mean, in all honesty, like Najee preseason, everything was shaping up for it to be better. Like Kenny Pickett looked unreal in the preseason. They tried to fix their offensive line. They drafted one, right? They did some free agent. Like you wouldn't think Jalen Warren's going to come in and like get the amount of touches he's had. So
yeah.
I
I
mean,
think like and also the Najee stuff like it was like the coach speak was great too, where it's like oh
yeah,
my god like Najee's our guy.
yeah,
He's gonna take the bulk of the carries, and then you watch him run now, and it's like, dude,
yeah. He's hitting
like
that.
that's
He's
what
getting that.
happened.
He's hit that Eddie Lacy now. He's just like a year. He's a year
And
away
what's
from the Eddie Lacy.
and what sucks? Have you seen Najee Harris's high school highlights?
I feel like I have.
Dude, this dude was hurdling people. Like just he looked like Derrick Henry in high school, just like huge, and like now it's just sad,
I'm looking up a picture of him in high school.
dude. He's like the same size.
Bro, check this out. This is him next to a coach and he's squatting down. Like that's insane.
Dude, he's huge.
Dude, imagine you go through hours of calculus and you get out and you got to try to tackle a dude that's 6'2" and
230.
220 and you're like, "All right, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go low and I'm just going to crush him." And he just hurdles you.
And it's funny, like in the highlight tape, um, apparently when you hurdle somebody in, I think you went to school in Florida. If you hurdle somebody in Florida, it's a flag. So he would like get
Seriously?
a yard penalty after hurdling somebody.
Just for the highlight reel though.
But it was like full body hurdle. Like the dude was standing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Dude, I still think the craziest hurdle I've ever seen was this like Saquon Barkley at Penn State, bro. where it's like against Iowa and it's like 3rd and 10 in a big, like, I don't know, they're down 3 with like 10 minutes left, some big situation. And it's like he catches a dump off pass, hurdles a guy, gets hit in the air, and lands on his feet and runs another 6 yards for the first down.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited for him to play. I'm excited for him to come back. I'm excited to see what he does.
yeah, well, I'm excited.
Bad.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if the Giants actually can like compete then. You know what I mean? Like, because even like Darren Waller, we just talked about tight ends here. Darren Waller just had his first like actual like good week. You know what I mean? Where he actually was getting like targets and actually like looked decent. And I feel like if you were to maybe incorporate Saquon Barkley, Antonio Brown over the Browns punter, yeah, that's fair. Was that the one where he kicked him in the face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily scored a touchdown, but he just wanted to like kick him right in the face.
That's the most Antonio Brown play ever, though. Like, I'd rather kick the dude in the face than score 6 points. You know what I mean?
I think that was prior to the CTE though.
Was it though?
Well, I think like that was always inside of him. The CTE's just bringing it out.
Yeah, that's probably true. Like we would just see glimpses of it, but now the CTE just makes it permanently.
Well, have you seen his Twitter?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, he tweets like the CTE.
Yeah.
Like the CTE, but I forget what he calls it, but it's like super.
I feel like it was like catch the energy or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's so funny, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, he's obviously mentally ill, and we hope that he gets help. But it doesn't mean his Twitter's not funny. So
no, it doesn't mean his Twitter's not. It also doesn't mean he wasn't one of the craziest receivers we ever got to see ever, dude.
First ballot Hall of Famer, easily, hands down, without a doubt. No, there was zero doubt that he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, unless Tom Brady's on the voting board, then he might. Not be on there.
Yeah, he's not getting it anymore.
Yeah. But dude, that was just a crazy time. Like we look at like the receivers we have now, like in football, I just think like they're good, right? Like Jefferson, Chase, Kupp's good. You go watch like the highlight reels of like Antonio, like the 2010s receivers, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, like Antonio Brown, AJ Green, D Hop when 2010s, like unreal. Like
yeah, like I like there was just a lot more spectacular catches.
Yes.
Like a lot of Jefferson and Chase's yards are just like crossing routes where they're wide open.
Yeah, or like, yeah, I'm gonna run like a 10-yard in route and it's a great route and I'm wide open.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, but that's not cool. I want to see you catch it in triple coverage, like
the
Jefferson catch that he had last year.
Yeah, the early 2010s Matt Stafford throws it quadruple coverage and Calvin Johnson just comes down with it.
Dude, I was talking to somebody about this like a week ago about you watch Calvin Johnson like highlights and you're like, dude, that's a stupid throw. That's a stupid throw. That like Matthew Stafford at the beginning of his career is so like just terrible decision maker, making stupid throws. But is it a stupid throw? Like I would trust Calvin Johnson in quadruple coverage. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I think though that like Matt Stafford, like he did throw a lot of picks.
Yeah. That's fair.
But I will say though, like if you have a receiver that's in quadruple coverage and it's a 33% chance you catch it, that's insane.
Yeah.
And I'd probably say it was probably around that.
At least as a Bengals fan, you would know that one.
I would know that one. That was a crazy game. I remember that game.
Dude, I remember last one, and then we'll actually get into like some fantasy relevant stuff here. But the one game, it was against the Eagles, and it was literally just Shady McCoy against Calvin Johnson. And I think Megatron put up like at least 190 yards. Maybe he might have touched 200, and then like multiple touchdowns. Shady McCoy had like 180 yards too, and multiple touchdowns. And it was like 5 inches of snow on the ground the entire time. I remember like at halftime, they're coming out with snow blowers blowing off like the 10, like each 5-yard increment, so they know where they're at. Like you get tackled, you get up just a face full of snow.
That'd be so awesome.
Yeah, but either way, so let's talk about some injuries and how you think it'll affect people. A-Rich is out now. I don't know how long he's out. They really haven't said. They're kind of just neglecting the fact that all of us fantasy managers want to know. They're saying he's like day to day, but when he came out, he said he couldn't lift his right arm.
Well, yeah. So I think they put him on IR today.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, and they said 4 to 8 weeks.
Oh, okay, perfect. Not perfect because I have him on my team, but like at least now we know.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Taylor, I feel like might have a better receiving role, but rushing role maybe is going to be worse. I feel like receiving role might be used more because I feel like Richardson is kind of like I'm going to sling it deep or I'm going to run it. You know what I mean? Um, Whereas Gardner Minshew is more of like I'm a smart quarterback. You
Yeah.
know, I'm just
Yeah.
going to keep the ball.
I think that definitely hurts him running just because of the lanes.
Yes. Yep.
Like, okay, okay. I got burned in one of our group chats this week because I said Zach Moss was irrelevant.
Yeah.
Which technically, long-term wise, Zach Moss is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because
it was in a dynasty league, right? Or keeper.
Yeah, it's a dynasty league. So like, I didn't want Zach Moss because I mean they just signed Jonathan Taylor for $14 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Once he's like ramped up, Zach Moss will not play. Like that's just the way it is.
You don't pay somebody $14 million a year and give them 6 carries every week.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I said Zach Moss is relevant. I got burned, obviously. Zach Moss went off. But to be fair, if you watch the film of the Zach Moss like when he had that long run, dude, there was literally no one within 6 yards of him for the entire play. The Colts O-line is balling right now. And that's why I think like I don't know. Like I think that Jonathan Taylor will still be pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and we say this all the time, right? Is we don't want to like base our rankings off of who's getting paid the most money, but you don't pay somebody money and don't use them, especially when you know what he's capable of.
I think running backs are the only position. It's tough though because like the Broncos paid Samaje Perine, right? But it was like $3 million a year. So it's like, okay, if they don't use them, or it's like it was like $5 million or whatever. If they don't use them, whatever. What's $5 million to the dead cap? They'll just get rid of them. It's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But pay somebody top of the market money, like you're going to use them.
Yes.
So I think it matters like when it's top of the market money. Like remember when Christian Kirk signed the big deal with Jacksonville and we're like, dude, how dumb is that?
Yeah.
He comes out and has 1,300 yards.
Yep.
Like there's just like certain outliers where you're just like, I mean, he's gonna get targeted or he's gonna get the ball off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree, dude. I'll tell you what, the Lions deal for DeMont is a 3-year $6 million or 3-year $18 million, so it's $6 million.
Did you see what Dan Campbell said today
about?
So he said about David Montgomery. Somebody asked him about like having a bell cow like role, like a guy. And he was like, yeah, of course. Like every team needs a guy who's going to get 20 to 25 carries a game. And the other guy, the complimentary guy, that's what he said. Like that doesn't like they're going to get their touches too, but that doesn't mean it's always going to be carries. So like, I think they view Dave Montgomery like they are going to run this man 20 to 25 times a game, no matter what, as long as he's healthy. And like his fantasy value, dude, like he's at RB1.
Yes, minimum. Like he's a high end RB1.
Yeah, I think I just don't know if the receiving, like I don't know, like when you say high end, do you mean like I think his ceiling would be like RB6? I don't know. Just because the touchdowns will eventually if the touchdowns stop, he doesn't have enough receiving.
Yeah, but my one thing is, are the touchdowns going to stop?
They won't.
Because like Jamal Williams did last year, and David Montgomery is significantly better than Jamal Williams. Like,
well, remember we were talking about it, and it was like a while ago, and we were like, why would they get rid of Jamal Williams and pay David Montgomery?
Yeah,
but staff definitely saw like, dude, if Jamal Williams could do this, like, what could this guy do?
Well, David Montgomery with Chicago was averaging like 4.5 yards per carry and was behind like a bottom 3 offensive line in the league. Like,
he's finished as an RB2 every year.
Yeah, and just because of he's just a great runner. And now you see that like he's not getting hit at the line of scrimmage. He's getting hit 3 yards down the line or down the field, and it's an arm tackle. And then he's getting hit 10 yards down the field. I mean, I think he's leading the league in broken tackles right now. And because all of them are like arm tackles, because they're all wide open, he's running through a hole. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that the value there is unreal. I also saw with JMO, Dan Campbell came out today and said like, we're just easing him back into it. He's going to get more snaps each week. And we're just happy that he's back and we're easing him back into the swing of things or something like that. But JMO's been terrible, dude. Like,
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I'm giving him like this year, all year. I'll believe in him. I'll trust in him. Maybe not trust him, but I'll believe in him and like have his back and say like he might end up being good, but like he can't catch a ball to save his life right now. So whatever Amon-Ra needs to get him on the jug machine, dude. In every
Yeah,
practice, needs to get him
yeah.
on those
It
things.
sucks with JMO just though because he was so good at Alabama and the talent is definitely there.
Yeah.
He just has had an injury or the
Hmm.
suspension. Like there's just been something that goes wrong every time.
Yeah.
And like I think another red flag for me though is like if Khalif Raymond is playing over you, like Khalif Raymond's not a bad NFL player,
No.
like at all. He's not bad at all. But like, dude, like if you're a top 12 pick and you can't play over Khalif Raymond, like there's just something off.
Yeah, but I will say that like you would want to ease him back into it, right? Especially dealing with a hamstring injury. I don't know how bad it is. He said
Yeah,
Dan Campbell said it's not bad at all, but like I don't know how maybe they're worried about that lingering around. But we've never seen JMO like legitimately pair 4 games in a row where he runs routes on 80% of the snap or 80% of pass plays. You know what I mean? And so like when we do, maybe he actually has the confidence of like, oh yeah, dude, I can dominate this. Like this level. But Saquon Barkley or Kenneth Walker here. This is tough. I'm curious just to hear what your other, like running backs are, and if it's full PPR or not, because Saquon Barkley upside. If you're trading away Saquon Barkley, which I think that's what you're saying here.
no. Yeah, no, yeah. That's what they're saying. But I would just say no to that.
Yeah, I would
You
want Saquon because of the upside.
you could get Kenneth Walker plus. I feel
Yeah.
like.
I think you're trading Saquon at the lowest of lows here. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't played in weeks. So like you're getting him at the very bottom and the second he comes back he's going to be good. Like we know that. Like he's going to have the volume, the sheer volume that like he's going to be good. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would want Saquon between those two. Dude, the other I know we were just talking about Bama receivers. I think that's the kind of the red flag that like Mac Jones, like in hindsight now I can look back and say is like, yeah, for sure, man. Is that like in college he had like an unreal receiving core around him, and that's
Mhm.
why he was good. Like an unreal receiving core, like Jalen Waddle, like Devontae Smith, right? Like it's very easy to look good with those guys around you. Whereas now, when you have Juju Smith-Schuster doing TikToks, right, and who else? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I feel like it's like kind of uncommon to see a quarterback that's that good in college just be that bad in the pros, but it makes sense that he would be. You know what I mean? Because
I think that yeah. I
like
mean,
if you can throw a
yeah.
ball 40 yards downfield to an open guy, you're going to throw for 2,000 yards in 6 games because everybody's wide open. You know what I mean? Like there's no pressure. You have the best offensive line. You're not facing, you just have such a leverage on everybody too, which I think is kind of what we've seen with like Ohio State quarterbacks historically as well. You know what I mean? Like Justin Fields was there. Look at the receiving core Justin Fields has and tell me he's not going to be good. Like same with CJ Stroud, but now CJ Stroud is actually panned out decently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, CJ Stroud's good. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
He should, unless I mean, at some point he's going to start to throw picks and make like rookie mistakes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're going to. But I think, I mean, he's built enough of a case now. I mean, I still think Bijan could like
Oh, for sure. I think it'll be
if
between for offensive Rookie of the Year. I think it's between him and him, unless and this could happen too if Jordan Addison starts going off.
yeah, which he could with no Jefferson.
He
Yeah, I wouldn't
absolutely
be surprised at
could.
all.
He absolutely could. I
Yeah,
think Jordan Addison. I wanted to talk about this too, like because of the Justin Jefferson injury. If you're gonna buy, like I know KJ Osborne, I picked him up in a couple leagues just because
hmm
I had JJ and I just needed like at least somebody else who's gonna get targets.
yeah.
I think if you could buy uh, Addison right now, that would be a huge get.
Addison and put Hawkinson in that
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
could buy either of them, those guys are seeing double-digit plus targets for every single game that Jefferson's not there, minimum. Like this offense has thrown the ball a ton, like a ton, every single game so far. You're not just going to turn and say, "Oh yeah, we're actually going to hand the ball off to Alexander Madison and Cam Akers 25 times a game." Now, you know what I mean? Nope, he's frozen. Oh boy, we lost him. But either way, that's kind of what I'm saying though, is that like with Minnesota, if you guys can buy low on Addison, buy low on low-ish, right, on Hawkinson. Either way, if you can buy those guys, they're going to be peppered with targets. I mean, we talked about like a 33% target share is what you want. Those guys are probably both going to be seeing 33%. Madison could see some more work in the passing downs too. If you have anybody from this Minnesota offense, obviously other than Jefferson, hang on to them for now to at least see what they do for this week. Maybe they have a really good week, and they use Madison in the passing down. But hey, he's back.
Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah. You're frozen on my screen, but I can hear you just fine. So
Sweet.
there you are. But no, I was just saying how we talk about like a 33% like target share is really good. We could see Addison and Hawkinson both have 33+% target
Yeah,
share.
because who's their wide receiver for? I don't like. They only play 3 receivers.
Yeah.
So it's like they only. I'm trying to think here. Oh, it's Brandon Powell is their 4th guy. So he would become the. I don't know if he'd become the Addison role, but I don't know. I think that they would also be a target to maybe add somebody.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I don't know how interested they are in going to be like buying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of meant like just like a free agent. I'm trying to think of any like free agent wideouts that are available.
Yeah.
But like maybe a guy comes in. I think Brandon Powell, like he played pretty well last week. He had like 10 PPR points. So it'd be something interesting. Like KJ Osborne was already running routes on like 95% of plays. He's not coming out of the game now.
No. Well, he's not, and neither is Addison. Like Addison, this rookie that you drafted and you're thinking so highly of, right? It's like, okay, Addison, you are going to be peppering with targets, right? This is like what Jefferson saw his rookie year of, okay, let's see how good you actually are. We're going to pepper you with targets. And dude, Hawkinson, same way though. Like they are already using Hawkinson a ton. You take away Jefferson, like he's option 1A in every single route. So
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Okay, one thing before we stop.
Yeah.
What about Devon Achen? That news sucked.
Yeah, I'm in a league that I've really struggled in. I had Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor in. And I drafted Kupp before the injury was big enough, and I drafted Taylor because he was falling too deep. And I was just coming around the corner, and I was 1-3, and I had HN, and it was going off now, and that was my big running back pickup there. I had Taylor coming back, I had Kupp coming back, and then I lose HN. And I'm like, oh man.
So, I mean, he's a league winner.
Yes, absolutely he is. Like he was like one of the biggest league winners we might have like ever seen. You know what I mean?
He's as much as a league winner as as Amon-Ra was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Or like even like Cooper Kupp 2 years ago. Like when Cooper Kupp was drafted in the 4th round and he had one of the best like fantasy seasons we've ever seen.
The best.
Yes.
Did he have a better season than Michael Thomas did?
No, I think he did. Because he was like right there for yards, and like it was up there in catches as well. Whereas I don't know if MT was there in yards.
Yeah, because I just know MT had like 149 receptions, which is nuts.
Yes. Puka's coming to break it though.
Dude, I actually really like Puka. I think I have 3 or 4 teams that I start Puka and Kupp on.
Yeah, I have 1 or 2 that I have them both in, and it's just like, well, it happened to me like 6 years ago or something like that, where I had Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara.
Oh, they balled out. They both finished as RB1s.
Yes, dude. It was like it was the easiest thing any week, other than their bye week. But like every week, it was so easy. I just start them both. Hopefully, they're guaranteed to give me probably 2 touchdowns between the 2 and 200 yards. Perfect.
Who cares how you get it? Like, who cares if one gives you? Yeah, like because you couldn't predict it.
No, you couldn't. But I was cool with whoever got it. I didn't really care. But we'll be coming back. We'll do every Wednesday for sure. Maybe this Friday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the schedules pan out. But every Wednesday for sure. Maybe every Friday that will be thrown up in the air. But other than that, this has been the Sports Geeks podcast. They play, we talk. Thank you guys for tuning in to another